All right, everyone. Unhappy Wednesday to all of you out there. Coming to you live from our humble abode. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you for joining us from wherever you may be and whatever service you're using to tune in. I always recommend YouTube. So pull up a chair, turn up the volume in the car, or use the company dime as we try to entertain you for the next hour-ish. Put an end to day 3 of this week's hostage situation and look forward to tomorrow, Friday Eve. Love the baseball posts right out of the gates here. We got Keenan giving you the Phillies update, 4-2. I saw that just briefly for a minute. Phillies look good, guys. So you all should be excited. And David Califoot, always willing to hop in and give me a nice negative comment about my Yankees. So, hey, look, man, we're playing the Astros. They've ritually kicked our ass over the years, cheating or not. We're going to get into that in a few, but they've beaten the hell out of us. So there's like I said, we'll get into that. But I wanted to start off a little bit with a little bit of kind of business-ish stuff first. Certainly not pertaining to the Green Legion. It's more for me. Those of you who follow me on Facebook or on Twitter, and I've been really bad about the Twitter posts. I know I got to get better at it. I turn into kind of a Facebook junkie, and I just post everything there, and I forget that, really I could go to Instagram, post it once there, and it would go to all 3, but I'm working on it. Anyways, for those of you who do follow me on social media, you've seen lately where I've a regular kind of barrage of posts where I'm looking for anyone local to me here in the Cincinnati area, or anyone who may be coming in for a weekend or whatever, or here on business or whatnot. Eagles fans to meet us at a place called the Back Porch Saloon here in Westchester, Ohio. That is kind of the push right now. It's something that I talked to some folks with in Arizona, and something that my friend Mike is like my brother from another. He is actually the GM of the Back Porch. There's some deeper rooted ties to the Back Porch, including my own family, which is pretty awesome. But Mike's the GM over there, also a huge Birds fan. We're really trying to gather up the Eagles fans here in this area and get everyone together for a place to hang out and watch the games and get loud and get rowdy. So like I'm bringing my Bluetooth speakers, and they're loud as shit. And we got the fight song playing and Rocky tunes before the game. Right now we got up to about 8 to 10 people, right? I really, really want to turn this into, from 10, we need to get to 20, from 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and so on and so forth. Right now, we've got to share the bar with Bengals fans, which I don't think I need to tell you guys. It annoys the piss out of me. But if we get to a point where we have 30, 40, 50 people pretty much coming every single week, then it's gonna be on my buddy Mike to go have the conversation with the owner. Hey, look, maybe we ought to take that Bengal stuff down and get some more green up in the bar. We're kind of in the back corner, not really corner. It's a pretty large dining area, and we've got it's more towards the front of the building. We got a couple of flags hanging up. Mike and I are gonna both bring in some more shit over the next coming weeks. I thought about trying to get. Birds are obviously on a bye week this week, so I thought about trying to get some folks together on this coming Saturday up there, say from kickoff of the 3:30 college games, which we're also going to get into a little bit later on. Say from kickoff of those 3:30 games into the Phillies Padres game 4 on Saturday night. That would give us, probably good 4 to 5 hours to hang out. So if there's anybody out there that's hearing this, seeing this, listening to this, lives in the Cincinnati area, or if any of you know someone that lives in the Cincinnati area that wants to come and wants to be a part of, whatever we can turn this group into, reach out to me on social media. Come to the back porch every Sunday. Just make your presence known. Where we really want to get this thing off and rolling. And who knows, we get enough people in there and we're packing the house. Right now, the lighted sign out front of the place advertises, come watch the Bengals. And then the next flash is Eagles fans welcome. I'd like to get rid of the former and only have the latter on there. So that's what we're trying to build towards. It's just going to take some time, but we're trying to have fun with it. We had a great time Sunday night. Obviously, Birds victory helps that, 6-0. But we're going to kind of close the show with the Birds today. But the format today is going to stay pretty much the same as it has been, y'all. We're going to get a little bit of baseball, a little bit of football, and then we're going to get out of here. So that was kind of my thing with the back porch and the Cincinnati Eagles fans here. So if anybody out there knows anyone or knows somebody who knows somebody, spread the word. All of you know how to find me. I'm not hard to find on social media. Reach out. And I'm more than happy to help. There was one gentleman last Wednesday who reached out to the Green Legion and asked if the Green Legion had a thing out here in Cincinnati. And it was Diaz talked to the guy and told him no, but you should talk to Adam. And he got the guy's email address and everything, sent it to me. I reached out to Jason, and him and his wife were there with us on Sunday night. Great people, active Coast Guard. So it's just an awesome addition to the group, both of them. We had a great time and hoping for that to continue. Jason and his wife will actually be in Philadelphia this weekend for Fan Fest and, whatever other debauchery is going on there in Philly. So, yeah, that was my push about the back porch and the Cincy Eagle fans. On top of that, obviously, Green Legion trips, we always want to push that. You got Houston. I don't know if they're sold out. I didn't look into it, but I do know that Indianapolis is only about 4.5 weeks away. Flights, I think he had said, are sold out, but there are still spots available for tailgate and I think hotel and tickets. So, I've got a crew of 6 of us that are going to be at the tailgate. Michelle and I are going to stay the weekend with the Green Legion. We'll get there on Saturday and we'll be there through, we'll be there until Monday morning. Mike and his fiance are going to come out. They're going to do tailgate. Mike's probably going to get tickets through one of his vendors. And then another buddy, John, who's part of our group here, him and his girlfriend are doing ticket and tailgate with the Legion as well. They're thinking about driving in on Sunday morning. I'm like, woo, that's an early morning, bud. But anyways, so come on out to Indy. It's your chance to come see my dumb ass if that, if that entices you at all. But it should be a great time as always. We had an awesome time in Arizona. We talked about that last week. As you can tell, my voice is a little better. I have a little bit more energy, and I'm looking forward to. Hey, we're in the league championship series here with baseball, so it's time to put that at the forefront and see what we can and see what shakes out. I love the matchup of the Phillies and the Padres, although it appears the Phils are trying to make me eat my words about this being some sort of classic. They are really off and rolling here. So let me get the score pulled back up. Yeah, still 4-2, top of the 5th now. We got a runner on first and 1 out. So Phil's looking good again. Let me hop over the room for just a second here. Michael Gaspard, how you doing, bud? Fly Eagles fly. 7-0. Well, 7-0 loading. Yeah, very good. I love that for the bye week, man. 7-0 loading. That's cool, man. We look to come out of the bye week and stay hot. We're going to talk some Birds later on. Lou Mancini in the room, everyone. How's it going, my friend? Russ Taylor, what the fuck? You're messing with my Phillies. I'm sorry, man. This is the time that's allotted to me, bud. So, without further ado, we're going to dive into the LCS. Look, you all know I'm a Yankees fan, okay? And it's the Astros. I love the win yesterday over Cleveland. I love Glaber rocking the baby at the end. And Naylor with the Tribe deserved every bit of grief that he gets for that, for his crap going around. Look, just because you hit a homer off of Garrett Cole, you're still losing in the game, and you still had a chance to lose that series. So shame on you for running your mouth too soon. You deserve every ounce of shit that you get. And Glaber, perfect. Right at the end, wait until the game's over. Bam. You were 5-1 pretty much the whole game. Could have talked a whole lot of smack. Psst, nothing. Final out. Glaber catches it, turns. Rock the baby. Punk ass. Out you go, Tribe. And now we are in Houston. I absolutely hate this team. I mean, I obviously hate the Red Sox more than any baseball team, but this Houston team has climbed very high on that list. There's just no way to sugarcoat it. From the garbage cans to the buzzers, Altuve cheating Judge out of the 2017 MVP, them cheating us out of a chance at the World Series in 17. However, all that cheating shit is over and done with, and guess what? They've still kicked our ass. So I'm not going to go deep dive into a whole lot of stats and all kinds of nonsense here. We'll get one look at it from this year. We played 7 times this year. They took 5 of those. And I can tell you, having watched all 7 games, the Yankees might have been better than the Astros for all of 4 innings of those 7 games. 2 resulted in walk-off victories. That's it. So if there was a way to, like, cautiously optimistic would be probably the best way for me to look. I'm very nervous. I do not want to lose to this team again. I hate the fact that I believe that they are in the heads of the Yankees, and they make me sick. I can't stand Jose Altuve. I think he's nothing but a little punk. And this is, the worst part about some of this stuff with the Astros is this was a team that when they first, started to come together and gel and everything, it was a team you could root for. It was a team you could respect. It was a team that was fun to watch. And then you come and turn the page and you find out about all of this nonsense, banging on trash cans, buzzers under jerseys, all of that shit. It makes them the villain. Where it's really kind of a different thing for the Yankees. We are used to being the villains. We are the evil empire, right? Like, everyone hates us. And and I understand that most of you out there still hate the Yankees. But I also think there's a lot of you that may just hate the Astros just a little bit more or equal to. So, game 1 tonight. Jameson Taillon is going to be on the mound for the Yanks. And it's going to be Justin Verlander for the Astros. Justin Verlander, who likely will win another Cy Young Award this year. He was dominant, pretty much all year long. It's not like they can't hit. Their lineup is loaded. So Taillon's going to have to come out and be firing on all cylinders, man. This team, that's how we beat the Tribe last night. Came right out of the gates, punched them right in the mouth in the first inning when Stanton hit the 3-run homer. And then tacked on a couple more. Judge with the solo bomb, Rizzo with an RBI base hit. And, Nasty Nestor was Nasty Nestor last night. And he went 5 on short rest. Gave up 1 run on just a handful of hits. I think he walked 1 and struck out 6 or some wild number. He was great. And we basically took the wind out of their sails right in the first inning. This Astro team is different. You can go out and score 5 runs in the first inning, and they will just keep coming after you. So there is no lay down. And if you can get Justin Verlander on the ropes, you have to take advantage of that. He does not get on the ropes very often, but when he does, you've got to bring the runs in because they're going to be at a premium. And Taillon's going to have to be very, very good tonight. And he's not pitched in a minute. So, he's not started in a bit. He came in and pitched, I think it was game 2 of the DS against the Tribe. So, we'll see what happens. I am like I said, no need to go over the tail of the tape. Everyone knows the Astros have owned us, cheating or not, since 2017. So this year is we're getting another shot at them. Okay, and it's time to take them down. Time to get them out of our heads. Time to kick their ass. Now, no, before I get off on a tangent here, let me hop back over to the room just a little bit here. Russ Taylor, can we talk about how Tennessee and how they started a GoFundMe to help pay for the goalpost? I got nothing. Nice. Padraig O'Connor, I hope you signed the Hall of Fame petition for the late Thurman Munson. I sign that stuff every time it comes around, bud. David Califoot, there he is again. Bring out the brooms. We all know who you're rooting for, bub. Appreciate the support as always. What else do we got in here? Okay. I'm gonna move on here. So the Yankees. And I had a text conversation with Chris and Lou earlier, Lou Dominguez earlier today. And Chris and I are usually on the same page with a lot of stuff, and this is one of them. The fact that team, with all of the bullshit over the years with Houston, the whole world believes that Houston is in the Yankees' heads. The whole world believes it. The whole baseball world believes that the Yankees fear the Astros. It's a fact. Everyone thinks that. Now, whether it's true or not, it's a different story, but it's certainly the appearance on the field. And for that Yankees team, great, you won the ALDS. Everyone knows that's not the end goal. Everyone knows you have got to bring your A game against the Stros. I don't care who you are. You have to bring your A game to beat the Stros. But especially the Yankees. The Stros don't fear the Yankees at all. At all. They look at the Yankees as their bitch at this point. As their postseason bitch. Okay? And it hurts my soul to say that, but it's the truth. And until this Yankees team wants to learn how to hit with runners in scoring position in the playoffs, wants to not bat 182 in a playoff series. Yeah, that was the batting average against the fucking Tribe. And for you guys to be in that locker room last night, popping bottles and spraying shit all over the place, have you lost your mind? Have you completely lost your mind? Do you not remember the task that's ahead of you that starts tonight? 24 hours after your big victory over the Tribe? Obviously, you don't recognize it. I can tell you, if Derek Jeter's in that locker room, those guys go in there, they have a good time for about an hour, and it's on the plane and on the way to Houston. If that Yankees team comes out flat tonight because they're fucking hungover, I am going to absolutely blow a gasket. Nobody says you can't celebrate a bit and have a good time. But you got to keep it in check. And I hope to God they did that, because the images I saw did not look like that's what was going on. I know none of them give a shit what I think, and that's okay. But I'm part of the fan base. I'm part of the fan base that has a voice. And I'm telling you what the rest of my friends are telling me. The whole baseball world believes the Yankees fear the Stros. That the Yankees in their head, don't believe they can beat Houston. And you have to take this opportunity to go and prove everyone wrong. And your reaction to doing that is 24 hours before Russ Taylor, thank you. Not even 24 hours. Not even 24 hours before first pitch of that game, your reaction is to get hammered. Just because you beat the friggin' Tribe. Not enough. Grow up. Go handle your shit. Tonight. Or lay down. Lay down and just roll over like you have against the Stros for a few years now. And believe me, you do that, and I'm calling all your asses out next week. And in between, you'll see it. I'll be ranting and raving all over the place. All right. Promise you some rants tonight. That was number one. Keenan Harmon, Quimby and the crew are headed to Punta. I might want to check. I'm not going to say that one, but Punta. Hope they drink responsibly. Yeah. Have you drank with those folks? It's drink debaucherously. But I hope they're heading down there to have a great time. We wish we were going with them, but not Arizona was our big trip this year. So, Russ Taylor, hey, they're not the tribe anymore. Have some sensitivity. No, I refuse. I will call them the tribe. I will call them the Indians. I will still say Chief Wahoo. I don't care. As they say in Cleveland, it's Indians forever, Guardians never. Take it or leave it. If they could have found a name that was more easy to make fun of, like the Commanders, where we call them the Commodes and all that crap, maybe I could call them something else. But they've been the tribe my whole life. And, like, I can't. Like, there's the movie Major League. It's the happy hunting ground. It's the tribe. Like, I can't with this. Enough. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Padre, Arizona was a great time. You're damn right it was, bud. Damn right. Except for when I lost my voice. That sucked. All right. So now you know where we stand on the ALCS. Okay. Yankees, get it done or roll over and die. You roll over and die, I promise you Aaron Judge is headed to San Francisco in the offseason. Promise you. Moving over to the National League. Your Phillies against the Padres. And this is a series that I really, really, this is the one that it's what I wanted. First of all, I wanted the Phillies to get there, right? Like, a lot of you are my friends. I know we don't see eye to eye on baseball as far as teams, but like, I don't have anything. I like that Phillies team. I think I've told you that all year long. I like that Phillies team. I like the youth movement they've brought in. I want to say it was Michael Scott just a couple of months ago on this show asked who I thought could make a deep run. And I said the Phillies, if they played to their potential. Wheeler's got to pitch well. Nola's got to pitch well. The bullpen's got to do its job. Bryce needs to get back hitting. Castellanos has got to get off and rolling. And well, guess what? Calendar turned to playoffs, and boom, here we are. And you are now in the bottom of the fifth inning. 1 out, runner on first for San Diego. Still a 4-2 Phillies lead. So all of you should be very excited. I'm excited for you. I'm hoping for a classic. I know you're hoping for a sweep, and it's not that I want you to lose games, but I want to see a good series. I expect if the Yankees are going to show any guts, I expect the ALCS to be a war. Kind of hoping for the same thing out of the NLCS. So, and then the Padres, right? They're kind of like an afterthought for a while. They had the whole mess with Tatis Jr. and everything. It's but here they are. And what is this? Keenan, what do you got? And from the point of view of a Native American, calling that teams the Indians was not offensive. Redskins difference. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. I don't get into the whole political end of that thing. I wonder. The only thing I wonder is why now is it such a huge problem when they've been called that forever? But so who's next? The Braves, the Chiefs, Seminoles. I don't know. Anyways, back to baseball. Lou Mancini, 2009 rematch World Series. We'll see, bud. Okay. Chris and I and Lou talked about that earlier too. I think Lewis was trying to stir the pot with me and Chris to get us to argue about that kind of series. And Chris and I both got to concentrate on the task at hand, right? The Padres, if they get rolling, they can be an absolute handful. Everyone knows it. Obviously, the Yankees have their absolute hands full, their task cut out for them with the Stros. So, we're not concentrated on anything else but the LCS right now. If we're fortunate enough to get to the World Series, we'll worry about that then. But thanks for trying to stir the pot there too, Lou. Appreciate it. 305 Sports Babe. There she is. How you doing, Ashley? Go Phillies, huh? Yeah, I know you hate the Yankees. Join the club. Anyways, something I posted the other night about the NLCS and what part of what I love about baseball, and again with Chris and Lou and with some other friends of mine who are big baseball fans. When they expanded the playoffs, they we had hoped for more of a race at the end of the year. And really it just kind of came down to the seeding. You had the Braves and the Mets, but that was, the loser was getting in it. The loser of that was getting in anyways, and haha Mets. Um but so the Padres are the 5 seed, the Phillies are the 6 seed. The Padres won 89 games this year and beat the 101 win Mets and then the 111 win Dodgers to get to the LCS. The Phillies won 87 games this year. They beat the 93 win Cardinals, red hot Cardinals coming into the playoffs too. And 101 win Braves, also a red hot team coming in. Those are the teams that they beat to get to the NLCS. So that's a combined 406 wins that is now sitting on a golf course somewhere watching 2 wild card teams get it on for a chance to go to the World Series. If you can't appreciate that, then I can't help you as far as from a baseball perspective, because that to me is absolutely beautiful. And it's the reason why I want that series to be competitive. It's not that I want, like I said, it's not that I want the Phillies to lose games. It's just that I want to see a competitive series. Last night was 2-0, so close game. Right now it's 4-2, another close game. But I do want to see a competitive series. And it's because I think both of these teams really, talk about earning your way in. You're the 2 lowest seeds in the NL playoffs. Combined, you took out 406 wins worth of teams to get to this point. Have at it, guys. Y'all are both playing with house money. I'm rooting for you. But, hey, good luck, right? That's all we can really say. What do we got over here? Oh, Keenan's using bad words again. Lou Mancini, hoping Tua comes back right. Look, I'm going to tell you something about Tua real quick, and then we're going to jump over to some college football stuff. I don't think Tua should play football anymore. That, where his hands locked up like that, was scary. And he needs to have conversations with his family, with his friends, with his, with some private doctors, whatever, to just come right back out on the field. Dude, that was neurological when his hands locked up like that. It was scary to watch. It's one of those things where if you're watching it with a young kid, you turn their head away because you don't want them to see that stuff. It's kind of the same thing like when Ryan Shazier got paralyzed on the field. And I knew it right away. He went head first in and it fell backwards. And when he sat up, he was doing this with his hands, right? Reaching out with his arms and doing this with his hands in what looked like panic, and his legs weren't moving. I grabbed my boys and I got them out of the room. Like, I don't want you to see this. It was scary. So I hope that Tua, he's a young guy. He's got his whole life ahead of him. He could easily walk into a very high-paying broadcasting gig or coaching or whatever. I just hope that he has taken all of the opinions and the medical professionals and everything into account, not just a diagnosis saying, "Well, you're cleared to play." Yeah, well, you might be cleared to play now, but one more of those hits. Let's hope it doesn't happen. Ashley, Lou, if you're out there listening to, I hope that doesn't happen to him. I think he's a nice young kid, and I'm worried about him. I hope he survives it. So we're gonna move on. College football, and yeah, we had a little bit of anger on this one too. I mean, obviously the biggest standout, as was alluded to earlier, was the Tennessee Bama game. So first time Tennessee's beat Bama in the last in 16 tries. All right, they were 0 for their last 15 against them going into that game. So to knock off Bama, granted it was at Neyland, it was in Rocky Top, so home game. But Bama's that's a game that Tennessee just doesn't show up for. Okay, it's they also don't show up when they play Florida most years too, but they showed up and took it to Florida this year, beat that ass, and then what a great very exciting game, fun game to watch. And congrats, if any of my friends down there that we lived in Nashville for a few years, any of my friends down there in Tennessee, if you're listening or you hear this later on, congratulations. You're undefeated and you're well deserving of where you got bumped up to in the rankings. I think you're right where you belong right now, behind Georgia and Ohio State. Ohio State's a different animal. If they get Jackson Smith and Jigba back, they're already a very potent offense. They get that kid back, and they're really going to take off. So, and of course, Georgia's the cream of the crop right now. So, so congratulations to Tennessee again. And it was a host of different games that were great to watch over the weekend. However, those of you who are fellow Penn State fans, and I know Mike English is, although I haven't seen him in the room yet. Any of you, Penn State fans or not, who were shocked by Michigan's performance against Penn State this weekend, I don't know how you were surprised. Now, look, I mean, there's a little bit of shock value there because of the amount of rushing yards, 400 and something yards. But if you noticed, anyone follow me social media, I did not talk any smack the whole week about the Michigan game because I was not confident that Penn State was going into the big house and coming out of there with a win. Multiple reasons for that, not the least of which is the fact that before that game, James Franklin was 2-13 all time against top 10 teams as the Penn State head coach. Now he's 2-14. And on the road, it's even worse. I think only one of those wins is on the road. One of the two wins on the road. I think the other one, I think it's a split there. So, I mean, look, I think Franklin's a good guy. I think he recruits well. But this Penn State squad is never going to be better than B+ at best as long as he is the head coach. So anyone who was shocked by Michigan blowing Penn State's doors in, I don't know what you were thinking. Yes, I hate Michigan. No, I still don't think they're the best team in the Big Ten. I still believe that's the Buckeyes, especially when Smith and Jigba comes back. The other part of the problem here, outside of James Franklin, is that Penn State was way overranked at number 10. Okay? They were 5-0 going into that game, and here's the victories. 35-31 at Purdue. Purdue stinks. 46-10 at home versus Ohio. No, not Ohio State. Ohio University, the friggin' Bobcats. 41-12 at Auburn. We'll come back to that in a minute. 33-14 at home against Central Michigan. And 17-7 at home against Northwestern. Now, that Northwestern game had the remnants of the hurricane. The weather was awful, but still, 17-7 against Northwestern. Do me a favor. Listen to what I just said. Take a look at those opponents and keep in mind that Penn State was not even ranked to start the season. And then, is there anything in there that would tell you that that team should have been ranked 10th after beating those teams to be 5-0? I mean, seriously, take a look at it. Listen to what I said. 35-31 at Purdue, 46-10 home against the Ohio Bobcats, 41-12 at Auburn, 33-14 at home against Central Michigan, and 17-7 at home against Northwestern. There's nothing there that tells you this should be the 10th ranked team in the country. And that, my friends, is where I have the big problem. Remember when I said we'd get back to that Auburn game in a minute? Well, we're back. I fully believe that Penn State ranking was 100% about the obvious SEC bias, and too much weight was put on the 41-12 win at Auburn. It's a great win. You want to go on the road and smack somebody around in their own house. And cool, it was Auburn. Here's the problem. Auburn stinks. They're not good. They just happen to be an SEC team. And the committee and whoever the hell else is involved has to back up their bullshit overhype of that conference, so they overweight games you play against anyone in that conference. Auburn currently has 3 wins. They are against Mercer, San Jose State, and Missouri. They are 81st in the country in yards per game allowed and yards per game gained. They average scoring 22.3 points per game. They average giving up 28.3 points per game. I'm sick and tired of the SEC getting all this weight. Don't get me wrong, they may still be the best conference in the country, but I think it's very top-heavy. Georgia, Bama, Tennessee, right? If you go top to bottom, there are some fledglings in there, and Auburn fits that. It's time for the committee, the AP, the coaches, or whoever else to actually do their jobs and dig into the real deal with each team, not just give assumed credit purely based on the fucking conference they play in. It's enough. And I'm telling you, that's why that Penn State team was ranked 10th. Because it can't be the other games. Purdue, Ohio Bobcats, Central Michigan, Northwestern. None of them are worth a crap. It's the Auburn game. The problem is Auburn stinks too. Stink. Sorry, my phone was just ringing. I don't know who the hell that was. Stink. In case you couldn't tell, that was the other rant for the day. Hop on over. Uh-oh. Seeing some not nice. I haven't looked at the score, guys. I do apologize. I wanted to try to keep you updated, but I did figure you were also watching on your own. So, tied second and third. Okay. Hang in there, guys. All right. If you thought you were just going to roll over the Padres, that just wasn't going to happen. They are a good team. Now, sticking with some college, some college football. We had a great weekend last weekend. This weekend has some nice top 25 matchups for you as well. And I'm going to give you 4 of them that I'm interested here. We're going to start with the noon kickoff of number 14 Syracuse at number 5 Clemson. Now, currently, Clemson is favored by 13.5, with the over-under being at 50. I mean, look, I felt it was pretty appropriate for Michigan to hop over Clemson and jump into that 4 spot. So your rankings, your top 4 right now is Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, and Michigan. Yeah, I've got a friend of mine out here, huge college football fan, massive Ohio State Buckeyes fan, who did not believe that Michigan should be in that spot. I did. And it's not because I'm so sold that Michigan's played a lot of great teams, but it's because I am really not sold on Clemson being real. I don't like the ACC as far as a football conference. So I did feel it was appropriate for Michigan to hop over Clemson. As much as my rant earlier would state that I think Michigan beat an overrated Penn State team, I'm definitely not sold on Clemson, like I said. Certainly not predicting an upset here, but it's a chance for the Clemson Tigers to quiet some critics, or maybe Syracuse comes out and shows us who Clemson really is. So anyways, that's a noon kickoff. Number 14 Syracuse at number 5 Clemson. Clemson by 13.5 with the over-under at 50. 3:30 is where things really start to get cooking, right? So at 3:30, one of the kickoffs, you have number 9 UCLA at number 10 Oregon. Oregon is favored by 6 with the over-under. It's a Pac-12 game. Over-under at 69.5. So the over-under tells the whole story, right? Like any Pac game, get ready for a shootout. That conference, along with the Big 12, who are going to get, their honorable mentions here in a minute. They have no idea how to play defense, but it does make for some wild games. It can be fun to watch. I prefer games that do show at least a little bit of defense, or at least have some talent on the defensive side of the ball, show maybe that they're competent on the defensive side of the ball. But we're not going to get that in that UCLA, Oregon. I say that, and then watch them come out and end up being like 30-25, 30-27, something like that, right? And the under is the way to go. I don't know. Should be fun to watch, though. Also at 3:30 p.m., we've got number 20, Texas, at number 11, Oklahoma State. So that's number 20, Texas, at number 11, Oak State. And Texas is currently favored by 6 with your over-under at 62. Again, big over-under number. Again, the Big 12, defense really isn't their thing. But who the hell is Texas? Are we going to get the team that nearly shocked Alabama? Or are we going to get the team that last week barely eked out a win against the Iowa State Cyclones? I guess we're going to find out this weekend in Stillwater. Oklahoma State is going to, they'll be home trying to bounce back after that loss to TCU last week. And that was an awesome game. TCU with a big comeback to win that game. And speaking of TCU, at 8 p.m. on Saturday, you get number 17, Kansas State, at now number 8, TCU. And currently Kansas State is favored by 3.5. The over-under there, 55.5. So a little bit lower than your Texas Oak State. TCU coming off that big comeback win over Oak State last week, jumped up to 8 in the rankings, and they're trying to stay unbeaten against that number 17 KSU team. For KSU, this is the start of a really brutal stretch for them, right? They're at TCU, number 8 in the country this week. Next week, they'll have home games against current number 11 Oklahoma State, followed by current number 20 Texas, respectively, after this road game at TCU. The Big 12 looks like they're just going to smack each other around, at least offensively, for most of the rest of this season. So that's kind of the lineup that I'm looking at for Saturday. Of course, the 3:30 games will then run into the ALCS and then into the NLCS. So Saturday should be a really, really fun sports day. And that's probably the day where if I'm going to let it fly, that's going to be the day to let it fly because, well, the birds are off on Sunday, right? We got a bye week, and it's a perfect segue to go right into the birds to take us home tonight. Let's talk birds, guys. Guys, girls, whoever's out there. Although I think I'm getting more Phillies commentary over here than I am actual comments on what's going on in the show. And I don't blame you guys. The NLCS, I get it. Believe me, if the Yanks were playing right now, the TV would be on up here and you'd see every little, I'd be jumping all over the place with every pitch, every swing. But anyways, let's talk birds, guys. Let's talk birds. 6-0 after the big Sunday night win over Dallas sucks. All right. Another game with a fast start and a first half full of Eagles dominance. On the flip side, we once again have trouble in the second half. If you ask me, this has to be the area that Sirianni and Gannon and the rest of the coaching staff and the captains and leaders on the team, this has to be the area where they spend most of their focus during the bye week, is how the hell, what is going on going from the first half to the second half? Are we not adjusting? Or are we every single week making incorrect adjustments? I don't know which would be worse. But something's got to give there. And that really needs to be the the big push during the bye week is we got to clean up that second half. That third quarter almost every week is like, I mean, that was Cooper Rush. I told you guys last week how I felt about that stooge. Now, look, we took care of business, settled things down, got the late touchdown, and everything worked out. And our defense, once again, was just absolutely incredible. But I want to see 4 quarters of consistent play and 4 quarters of consistent, solid play calling. Because I don't think it's just the players that, it's coaches have to take their responsibility with this too. And that's why they all need, the leaders on the team, the coaching staff, everyone has to work on it together this week. We're up 20-0 at halftime, guys. I mean, that game had the potential where if you were going to just make your statement and tear somebody's head off, that was the game. And once again, we came out in the third quarter, we were dead flat. And Keenan Harmon, spot on. Third quarter is giving me ulcers. I 100% agree with you. There I was Sunday night trying to get this group together, trying to attract more Eagles fans, and we get off to this flying start. It's awesome. I got the fight song going, and then the third quarter comes, and all of us are just like, oh my! And in the back of my head, I'm like, oh God, please don't blow this. But not to Dallas. Jesus Christ. Aiden. There's my son's friend. Is that? Yeah. Cooper Rush is a dog. Well, David Califoot over on YouTube. The only thing that scares me more is that second half, pedal to the metal, all 4 quarters. Exactly. That's exactly what we're saying, bud. You've got to, we need to have a game where it's just smash. 42-7, 49-10, just some beatdown. But again, we did get the job done. The defense was amazing again. The secondary, once again, stealing the show. Bradbury and Slay are incredible as a tandem. The day that we signed Bradbury was a day that this show was supposed to go on. And that was the day that we called it the the unhappy hijacked show when Quimby kind of took over the whole thing. What was I telling? It was brought to you by DB Cooper and Hidden Valley Ranch. But it was a fun night, and it was for a good reason, because we were excited to go get Bradbury. It was something Q and I had talked about. Hey, the Giants just cut him. Why don't we go after him? Bam, went and got him. It was a great move. Bradbury and big play Slay right now, they are number 1 and 2 in the league in the passer rating against stat. So when a quarterback targets who these guys are covering, their passer, the passer rating is the lowest in the league. They're number 1 and number 2 in those, respectively. And actually, I think Bradbury is the toughest, and then Slay's right behind him. And they're on the same team. I mean, how awesome is that? And then you get C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who had a monster game despite the hand injury. 2 picks, 4 tackles, and he was absolutely all over the field. I had to gasp for air when he was holding his arm down like that. I swear, the way that looked, it looked like he tore his bicep. And I thought we were going to lose him for the rest of the year. Thank God it wasn't that. I mean, he was unbelievable. All over the field. That secondary is incredible. As we've been doing every week, we look at Jordan Davis. Okay, he did see a dip in his playing time this week. Last week, he was at 42% of the defensive snaps. This week was down to 33%, and he had just 1 tackle. Now, he did make an impact when he was out there. He's so big and strong, you had to account for him. But, about dipping 9% of the defensive snaps from last week. And that could have been scheme. You never know. The other person we've been looking at every week is Nakobe Dean. And I don't know that we're going to continue to do this. He once again saw 0 time with the defense. And I'm not sure he's really worth talking about anymore until he actually gets on the field with the D. Look, the linebacker play in front of him has been stellar, which I'm sure is contributing to it. I do worry that maybe he's not grasping things NFL-wise. Maybe he's getting pushed around a bit. But be that as it may, he's playing strictly special teams right now. So I think until we see him on the field, in some sort of rotation on the defense, I don't think we're going to keep harping on this because I don't want any bad juju. So we're going to move on away from that. Now to the offense. This Dallas defense, we talked about it last week, hadn't surrendered 20 points or more in a game this year until we put the 26 on. I mean, really, I feel like we could have scored a lot more. It may not have been pretty, okay, but the defense, our defense gave our offense excellent starting field position, and we turned it into 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals against that tough Dallas team. I think it was somebody who just said it a minute ago. Yeah, Keenan, Lane went down and the right side became a revolving door for a while. Agreed. But before he went down, he absolutely neutralized Micah Parsons, which you all know was and I'm sure we all shared the same sentiment when we were leading into the game. How are you going to account for him? What are you going to do with him? I thought they schemed it incredibly well to combat what Parsons does. And Lane Johnson pushed him around. Excuse me. So, when Lane goes down, yes, it becomes a bit of a revolving door over there. But before that, I mean, you didn't hear much about Parsons. Jalen Hurts, not able to get much going on the ground. 9 carries, 27 yards. But he did what he had to do through the air, despite facing a lot of pressure, like was brought up especially once Lane went out. Parsons was kind of having his way over there. 15 to 25, 155 yards, but 2 touchdown passes. Sanders, despite that tough Dallas D, did look good on the ground. 18 carries for 71 yards and the other touchdown. Look, overall, the offense did what it had to do. That was not going to be an easy game for us to score a bunch of points. And really, when it's all said and done, we scored 26, and I thought we left at least another 10 on the table. Which that's where we keep talking about that second half nonsense that has to stop. Because he put up those other 10 points, and this is a beatdown. Dallas never ends up, with the ability to run the ball and try to control the clock and methodically drive. Sooner or later, we're going to have to come out and play at least 3 full quarters to really drop the hammer on. And then, if you're up 42 to 10 and at the end of the third, you want to take your foot off the gas a little, that's okay. I'd prefer to just run the shit up and leave no doubt, but I get why they do it. So look, overall, we did what we had to do. That's a tough Dallas defense. I thought our offense performed very well considering the difficulty against that defense. We went over all those numbers last week. Defensively, the Eagles and the Cowboys were very much even coming into that game. The swing was our offense significantly better than their offense. And that's what showed. That's what panned out on Sunday night. And like I told you, I expected to win that game. Why? Because like I've said every single week, we are the more talented team. When you're the more talented team, the coaching staff should be calling plays and putting you in positions to win. That's it. And then it's on you to go out there and execute. And everybody's going to have bad games. But when you're the more talented team, I expect to win. So, at the end of that week, at the end of this past week, here is where our beloved Birds rank in the NFL. And I don't have like the actual, I just have the rank. So here's where we rank heading into the bye. Yards per game, offense, 3rd in the NFL. Points per game scored, 4th in the NFL. Yards per game allowed, 4th in the NFL. Points per game allowed, 6th in the NFL. Takeaways, 1st. Turnovers, 1st. I don't think any of us could have asked for a better start to this football season than what the boys have gone out there and done in these first 6 games. And I'm incredibly excited for the second half I say half, but it's really, another 11 games. I hate the bye week so early like that, but whatever. Anyways, let's close the show with just a couple of things where maybe unhappy was right and where maybe unhappy was wrong. Not to rip off a thing from Colin Cowherd, but I kind of like the model. So before the season, I told everyone, including on Right On Cue, and I was saying it before this show even launched. The Vikings will be the class of the NFC North. So far, check. They're 5-1. The one loss, go Birds. So, I mean, you look at that, right? So, before we go into this, not only are we 6-0, but we're still a game clear of the Giants. Don't ask me how the hell they're 5-1. To me, it just looks to be all Saquon Barkley and shit, playing a shit schedule. But anyways, a game clear of them. We're now 2.5 games clear of Dallas because we just beat them and our record is 2 games better. The Vikings are 5-1, but we have that their one loss is to us. I mean, you talk about being in a driver's seat right now. I mean, and it's not like our schedule gets really tough at any point. And that plays into this here. Everybody just kept assuming that, oh, well, the Packers have Aaron Rodgers. The Packers have Aaron Rodgers. Look, I told you all that loss of Devontae Adams was bigger deal than anyone wanted to admit. Rodgers will just figure it out. Look, you can't replace a guy that caught 84 passes that resulted in either first down or touchdown and also caught over 96% of his catchable targets. That's not replaceable. I don't care who your quarterback is, even if it's Aaron. Okay? So, check off one for unhappy on that one. The Vikings are leading that division. And unless some injuries happen, I expect them to continue. Fito, how you doing, my brother? Finally makes it in the room here. Another long day at work, I assume. All right. Next one. The Phillies, if they play to potential, would make a deep run. Check. You got the NLCS against the Padres. That, like I said earlier, has the potential to be a classic series. And it looks like, yeah, so that was a tough inning for you guys. But still early. Don't lose faith. Now, let's take a look at where unhappy might have been a little off base. Russell Wilson to Denver makes the Broncos a contender. Yikes. The only thing that might look worse than Russell Wilson is Nathaniel Hackett as the head coach. He appears to be very over his skis. The team can't score, and I think Russ forgot what an open receiver looks like. The last couple of weeks coming off a loss, all of a sudden Russ has to have an MRI after bad performances. Feels like a lot of weak sauce over there. So, yeah, dead wrong on that one so far. The optics are really bad. If Russ has to park it for some sort of injury for a while, I mean, hell, they might look better with somebody else on their side. Russ looks bad, and Hackett looks lost. He looks way over his skis. Another one. The AFC West would be must-see TV. Maybe not, right? The Raiders versus the Chiefs was fun, but the Broncos and Chargers have absolutely just ruined it for me. I was looking forward to, and it ties into the one before that where Russ going to Denver, right? I was looking forward to those being battles where, Derek Carr was the worst quarterback in the division. That should be shootouts and wars and just fun to watch football. And the Broncos have been brutal. The Chargers have been wildly inconsistent. The Raiders are not a good watch sometimes. The only one that's there is, unsurprisingly, the Chiefs with that freaking colossal slob head coach and his damn Waffle House menu he orders off of while he's calling plays. And finally, we're going to end the show on one that I think all of us missed on. And that was that the Giants, or Ginas, Cowgirls, and Commodes would all be awful. we were definitely all wrong here. Before the season started, I thought the safest bet of any over/under win total, probably in the NFL, was the Giants at 7.5. Like, where the hell were they going to get to 8 wins? Well, they're 5-1 right now, and I don't know if anybody's looked at their schedule. It ain't getting any tougher. So, they are probably going to get to 8 wins relatively easily. And once again, Vegas will clean up. Dallas, as much as I can't stand them, as much as we all hate them, as much as we all love that victory on Sunday night, they are still 4-2. And that defense of theirs, regardless of who's under center, Cooper Rush or Dak Prescott, that defense of theirs is going to keep them in a lot of games. They're going to be there. They're going to, they're likely to be there, barring injury. Again, the Giants, barring injury, if Saquon Barkley goes down, because Daniel Jones still hasn't looked the part. Now, he doesn't have any receivers to throw to either. But if they lose Saquon Barkley, all bets are off. The only one where I think we all got it right, the Washington Commodes. What a shame and what a shambles that franchise is, right? They go out and they trade for Carson Wentz after, I thought Taylor Heineke really did a pretty serviceable job there. But they stink. And their owner is making a mess. Now I think it was Irsay, right? Was the first one to come out and wants Snyder forced into selling the team. So that's a mess. The Commodes stink. And now Wentz is hurt, right? So anybody who had who had 5 games in the Carson Wentz injury pool, you win. But let's say, Heineke comes out and let's say he sparks Washington. And even if they don't win, they just look better. That's probably going to be the end for Carson Wentz. We all know this is his last shot as a starter. But if a guy like Heineke can come out and win with this team or look more competitive with this team, that's it. Carson's done. And please, please, please don't try to kid yourself into thinking that you won't be glued to that shit to watch that Ronald McDonald freaking ginger ass have to sit on the bench behind Taylor Heineke. Oh, what a life. One more time over to the room. Fito, I feel like I've missed a month of this. Yeah, we've missed you too, buddy. We've missed you too. Lou Mancini, Russell Wilson has turned into Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace. More like Mrs. Ciara. Keenan Harmon talking about Carson Wentz. He heard him finger poor ginger bitch. And that, my friends, is how we're going to end the show. Y'all, it's been great. I feel more alive this week. My voice is better. I've had a great time tonight. I hope all of you have had a good time tonight. And back to the top of the show, anyone who knows anyone here in the Cincinnati area, please reach out to me on social media. Please come to the back porch for Birds games. Walk in wearing your Eagle stuff. They will know exactly where to send you to meet up with all of us. If you're worried about it, reach out to me first. No problem, no worries. I got you. It's probably going to be a thing where I may start buying a couple of buckets before the game. Unhappy's got your first one to help get you started, something like that. And we'll try to build from there. But that's the idea. The other piece of news that I forgot to mention at the top, but it's a great way to close the show. This show, while I've enjoyed doing this from my bedroom, that's where you see the hats hanging. It's really the only place in my house where I can shut the door, lock it, and my kids know not to come banging on the door unless there's an emergency. But we're going to try to start it next week. I am going to start doing this show from the back porch saloon in the area where we hang out for the games. There'll be a Birds flag behind me and all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to give it a shot next week, hopefully. And if it goes well and there's not a whole lot of interruption or, sketchy kind of spotty service or whatever, we may keep doing it there every week. But we'll see. Like I said, we're going to try to start there next week. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for being here. with us tonight. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. I cannot thank you enough for giving me some of your time. I hope I've been entertaining. And I know the Phillies just had a tough inning, but I'm rooting for you. However, you all know what's coming on my TV in a little bit. Let's go Yankees, down with the Stros. Enjoy the bye week, everyone, and keep an eye out for some posts from the bar this weekend. We're gonna try to set up kind of a bye week debauchery to watch some college football and some playoff baseball. Yo, we close out today. Day 3 of the hostage situation. Tomorrow is Friday Eve. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the bye week. Love you guys. Thank you. All right, everyone. Thanks again. Enjoy your weekend. Take care.